crisp. You're going to listen to that. You know that.
Why, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. I'm Nick Knack. With me is the great Lord Horn.
Hello!
Realm Shifter.
That's called plagiarism?
It's called, it's actually called...
Parody?
No, not parody. It's called...
imitation, the sincerest form of flattery.
Inspiration.
Inspire!
Inseki.
Inspire!
Yeah, no, that doesn't inspire me much at all.
Inspire these nuts.
All right, well, this week we watched Fairy Tail. Galuna Island was like our second.
No, so this is most of Tenrou Island, but not all of it. So we do have episode limits. I can only make you watch so much of an. And some of these arcs in like the shonen anime are.
You have a lot of stuff here by our feet, so I know you can't help it, but like don't give me a look every time I accidentally bump into something.
Oh, okay. But even though these shonen arcs are long, that means I can't always get them all in one go. I.e. Naruto, the tuning exams, which I had to cut right in the middle of the most interesting parts. So this is most of Tenrou Island, which starts at episode 96, which is where we started.
Yeah, because this is just leaving off after the other arc that we just did before this, where we went to basically Edelus. That's what it was.
So we did manage to get all of Edelus into one episode, but Tenrou's going to have to be two. So we watched 96 to 116, The Power That Becomes Life. And then the arc actually ends on episode 122. Like, if it ended on, like, 118 or something, I would have just asked if you guys were willing to watch, like, 2 more episodes. But it ends on 122, so that would have been, like, another 6 episodes.
Yeah, we would have been watching, like, over 30 episodes, as it is.
No.
Oh, no.
It'd be, like, 26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 26, 27. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not too many,
but we already had our plates full as it was.
Yeah, and if I broke the arc this way, then the next submission of Fairy Tail will make a lot of sense. So we watched most of Tenrou Island, but not all of it. I did try. I considered leaving you off before episode 116, but honestly, I thought episode 116 was a pretty good place to leave you guys off.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping, because it was like a little mini cliffhanger in the middle of the arc.
Yeah.
It also kind of like ends it with, if I remember, a resolution to like one of the major conflicts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's the Ultir and Grey stuff.
I mentioned the Galuna Island, but it does kind of
because you had Grey and Leon talking about Ur in Galuna Island.
Yeah.
So we've got kind of some more backstory and resolution to that. So I'd like to go around and get, oh shit, we stopped ratings.
Just general thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, maybe not a rating, but like, so last time we all gave this and approved when we were still doing ratings. I would like to know if you're still feeling positive about this, at least, because I was really excited last time because I was like, ooh, finally, one of my like big shonens for, anime of the season. I knew it wasn't going to win, but it would have at least been in the runnings. And now we don't have ratings, so I don't get that. You ripped that from me just as I had a fucking shonen that would have fulfilled it.
Look, you ended on a positive note.
I know, but still. But I really like Tenrou Island. In my opinion, I like and obviously you haven't seen all of Tenrou, but you've seen a lot of it. I like Tenrou more than I like Edelus. And that's maybe just me, because I like the S-Class exams, like, a lot. Yeah. But I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts before we get into talking about the actual nitty-gritty of stuff.
So whose thoughts do you want to hear first?
Let's start with Realm.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, this was a good arc, but I'd say I still prefer Edelus just a little bit more to this arc, mostly just because, like, while there was some other hiccups that you had that you explained last time we reviewed this, when you were trying to watch Edelus, I still think, personally, that Edelus hit kind of its emotional character beats a lot better than this arc, personally. At least it's just what I noticed, but this definitely did move things more forward as far as the story is concerned. But like what you guys were talking about earlier with Grey and Uhl, that kind of thing. But yeah, no. Otherwise, it was a fine arc. I'm still positive on this. Like, I'm liking where this is going, but I don't have as much to say about it as I did with Edalus.
Okay. Vorn?
So, Seki's going to hate me, but also I did promise I would keep up with the ratings as well. So, based on Mao, this would be a 6/fine.
Yeah.
And mostly it's due to me deciding to binge Solo Leveling Season 1 before watching this.
Solo Leveling.
It's 2 episodes.
No, I read the manga.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you for reading the manga, Vorn.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that at a different time. I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts.
Okay, basic thing. Too much fighting. I got tired out and started doing Dragon Ball Z style stuff. Except you can't kind of do that in Fairy Tail.
I can see that happening since I've been reading Solo Leveling too. I can kind of see where he's coming from here. This is a very fight-heavy arc that we're watching.
It is, because you start with the S-Class exams, and then you get into the other stuff, which, by the way, spoilers for Tenrou Island. Knick-Knack, I'd like to hear your thoughts before I say something about this arc.
So, I am kind of with Realm here, where I think Edalus was the stronger arc. But I also think that's just because Edalus is a step above what I've even the higher bar of Fairy Tail for me. Because it feels like it could have been an anime on its own with how much writing went into it. But on its own, this arc's fine. It's good. I actually enjoy it. I like the character writing a lot here, actually. Everyone's kind of has their moment. They're all fun still. If I had any criticisms right now of Fairy Tail, it's kind of its arc pacing. Because it feels like we go...
It feels like what you've seen so far is technically 2 arcs
Not even
in Tenrou.
It's not even necessarily the pacing of Tenrou itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pacing of Fairy Tail arc to arc. Where it feels like every time is a big climactic moment in the series. It never feels like the arcs are just an arc. So when they have these moments that are made to feel or presented to be like these big emotional climaxes with the characters, it's starting to get like a little okay, you just had the hardest emotional struggle of your life last week too.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I think in some ways, obviously, we're talking about the Tenrou arc. You guys have not finished the arc.
No.
This despite the fact that there is a slight mini climax at episode 116, there are 6 episodes left in this arc.
Yeah.
And technically, I would say 8 in the extended pacing of the arc, which we're not going to get to until the next time that we come across Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
And I do think this is one place where this arc is slightly let down by being cut up, because we're going to return to talk about this next time, because Tenrou is going to be the big arc that we're talking about next time, because we're going to actually finish it. And I do think that some of the things you've expressed just now would be resolved by completing the arc, only because I know what happens later. I say that knowing what happens later, not saying that you have to change your opinion now. I understand why based on just seeing this, because it feels like we've come to an arc climax, but the big payoff is just another
few extra episodes later.
No, it feels like the climax is another emotional moment about one of the characters' backstories instead of Lysana and Elfman and everything this time. It's Gray, you know?
Yeah.
And once again, much like Lysana and Elfman, it was continuing a storyline that had been hinted at from the Phantom Lord. The Gray thing is continuing a storyline that was started in Galuna Island. So I get it, and I'm very excited to see what we say next time.
Maybe. I think...
Yeah.
In this case, it's probably a huge byproduct of the fact that it's a fight arc following up on Edalus. So it feels like, this entire arc is the big climax. My favorite parts of the arc were the S-Class exams.
The S-Class exams
But
are
when
amazing.
that got interrupted, I kind of oh no, we're going right into another big climax.
I would like to tell you right here and now, buckle your seatbelts and pull down your roller coaster securements, because every single arc until the end of this series is essentially a fight arc.
Fun.
Pretty. I mean, there's story, but pretty much every single major arc until the end of this series, from Tenrou on, is a big climactic fight arc.
Honestly, fuck it.
And almost none of them we are going to be able to get through in one submission. Every single one of them is going to be multiple submissions.
I don't need to get through it in one submission, but I do kind of... I don't know, maybe I'm just spoiled after Edalus. I kind of wish that we would slow down and really get to breathe in what's going on with the arc.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Honestly, fuck it. I'll take the never-ending fight scenes for the rest.
It's just going to be escalating from here on out in terms of fights, and I mean that's, you know.
I mean the fight choreography here isn't bad. Like it's cool watching them fight. Yeah. So it's not like.
I do think the thing is upcoming. Obviously, I'm looking forward to what I like looking forward. I know what episodes I have scheduled thus far, and if all goes to plan, this season, you all on the channel should be seeing us get into Grand Magic Games. And Grand Magic Games is very similar to S-Class exams in that it's like kind of a tournament style, and that's kind of the biggest break you're gonna get from like big climactic fight arcs is the Grand Magic Games, which I do plan to get you to by the end of the season. But for now, we're talking about the S-Class exams and the first part of this Tenrou arc. So over the course of the 20 or 21, I think I might have miscounted and given you guys 21, and I am sorry for that. Because I didn't mean to. I just saw 96 to 116, and I counted 20 because...
Yeah.
My brain said 20.
Brain.
Didn't we already watch 96?
No.
I felt like I watched it already.
Nope.
Huh.
Nope. But I do remember, so when watching episode 96, the first 5 or 6 minutes of that episode are part of the Lisana arc, and the second half of that episode is part of this arc. So the episode itself is split, sort of like finishing an arc and starting another. So that may be why it felt like you'd already seen it, because there was some on Lisana at the very beginning.
The recap.
Yeah, kind of. But it wasn't a recap, it was just finishing Fairy Tail does that, where sometimes it'll finish an arc in the first half of an episode, and then start either a filler arc, or like a filler half episode, or start the next arc in that half space remaining. We had it happen in... a different arc too, where like one half, the one where the Wendy or Aracian Seis had a half episode ending, where like one episode later it was like half the episode was finishing Aracian Seis, and I had you watch it before we recorded because I forgot about it.
No, I'm pretty sure we watched it while we recorded.
Yeah,
because that wasn't that like then it went into Lucy's arc.
Yeah, because Lucy had a little like filler arc there. So across the 21 episodes we watched, there were 3 openings and 3 endings. Technically, the first opening and ending that we had was only there for like 2 or 3 episodes. So Rock City Boy was carried over from the Edolus arc and ended on episode 98. Same thing with Don't Think, Feel for the ending.
Yeah. So
we already talked about Rock City Boy and Don't Think, Feel. You know it's my favorite so far, even though I know it's not yours, etc. But so the first actual OP for Tenrou Island is Toa no Kizuna, which started in episode 99 and goes to episode 111. So how do we feel about Toa no Kizuna?
Best of the 3.
That was the
piano riff.
Yeah.
I was pretty middling on it, and I actually really like myself piano OPs, so I'm surprised on that one.
Because Nick Nack is all spoiled for good piano
No, this one didn't click. I think it's just because it's following up Rock City Boys, and I did really like Rock City Boys.
Rock City Boy was really good.
Honestly, Rock City Boy, even though it's not this arc's OP, is still goated.
It was just because I think Rock City Boys for me just fit better where it started. Like, maybe I'm not talking about this submission, but like in Edolus where it started, like it starts right as that arc really hits a turning point.
Yeah.
So it really feels like it fits here. The tone isn't really that set. I don't know if I like piano OPs for me like really convey like certain emotions that I don't think this arc necessarily really sets, especially early on.
I will say it is interesting. I do think from what I've been looking at, it looks like each season, every 12 episodes, we get a new OP.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like pretty regularly. So every 12 episodes, which means sometimes, like in the case of Tenrou and Edolus, we'll get multiple openings.
Yeah.
And sometimes that 12 episode cutoff is in the middle of an arc. So like that's when we saw like the openings reflecting the next arc before the next arc started and so on.
I don't mind that, especially because the way that it was handled in Edolus, you like the switch in OP concurred with the switch in tone for the arc. Like when you play with it like that, it can work really freaking well.
And in this case, Toa no Kizuna is about Tenrou Island, but so is I Wish, because Tenrou Island is such a long arc. So Toa no Kizuna, the ending for that was Konote Nobashite, which I liked. I thought it was a fun ending.
Yeah.
It's one of the better ones in my opinion. Like, I just enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah.
And then at episode 112, we switched over to I Wish, or Wish. along with the ending, "Boys be ambitious."
Always be ambitious.
So, I wish.
Eh.
I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I prefer "Boys Be Ambitious" personally. So.
Oh, the ending song.
Yeah.
I think I did like the ending song for the second half.
As kind of a reference for our audience, I did have them listen to all 3 of these openings and then all 3 of these ending songs right before we started. Mm-hmm. So they have heard them recently, and they know which one is which when we're talking about them, which I felt was necessary in this case because there's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them, and it's probably been a while since we've done this.
Yeah, with the exception of Vorn, who binged this yesterday. Hats off to you. I could not. I started early.
We tried.
Well, no, we didn't. We weren't binging it like last minute.
No, not last minute, but we did try to binge as much of it as we humanly could.
Homie, I could have kept watching. I was entirely stopping that for your... so you didn't have to watch 20 episodes in one day. You underestimate my ability to binge Fairy Tail. I was perfectly fine to keep going.
I thought you were falling asleep.
Nope.
Maybe you were falling asleep.
No, I wasn't.
No.
Oh.
We just stopped at a certain point because it had been a while, and I was like, if we keep going any longer, I'm not going to want to stop at any certain point, and then he's going to be stuck here all night watching Fairy Tail with me.
Fair enough.
And I think it was like a Sunday too, so like it wouldn't have been
like
you have work the next day, so it wouldn't have been a great option.
Yeah, unless Nick Nack wanted to wake up exhausted the next day.
Yeah,
just binge Fairy Tail.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's talk about... I don't feel the need to go over animation again or anything like that.
No.
The studio hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You know, none of that has changed. This stuff is pretty set in how it's premiering, you know? There's not a whole lot of gaps in the schedule. I'm looking at when these episodes released, and it's not... like that this is releasing year-round consistently.
Yep.
So that's not a concern.
Now, one thing that is slightly weird to me is how they split the seasons.
So that's based on production episode order. So technically, season 1 was all released kind of continuously, and then they took a break before season 2 started, and it was because they had caught up with the manga, and the manga needed to progress.
Right.
Then they released season 2. This is why season 2 has 2 or 3 filler arcs instead of just one, a couple, like 1 or 2 small ones like this one. So season 2 was released, and then season 2 ended, and then they had to wait for the manga to finish, and then season 3 is the final arc of the manga finishing. So it's not seasons like this is like it's
not
like
not a traditional season. It's just kind of
it's not even a One Piece season where it's 52 episodes. It's like season 1. No, this is just like
a continual simulcast release essentially.
Yeah, so
they went into this knowing they wanted to animate everything.
So season 1 is everything they animated up to the point where they took a break. Season 2 is everything they animated until they took another break, and then season 3 is the final season.
Okay, so
if that makes sense.
So it's essentially just a divide. Between
because if you look here, we have our next arc, right? It comes out in March.
Yep.
Then there's a full filler arc that's like 20 episodes long.
Oh yeah, that's why it's all highlighted.
Yeah,
in yellow
and
here.
then starts the next.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a little odd, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because you can also
because this is different.
Yeah,
This is different from like
down,
your traditional kind of anime season.
Yeah. If you look down, episode 176 is the first episode of the 2014 series. So I think they took a break at the end of 2012 or at the beginning of 2013
to let the manga do more.
And then they started in April of 2014, and that's considered season 2.
Yeah.
Even though it's actually middle of the arc. Because they did cut it mid-arc to let it simmer.
Let it cook.
Yeah. Close some tabs.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, but in my opinion, there's no real point talking about animation differences until we get to season 2 officially, because that will be a new production code essentially.
Yeah.
Like a gap has been taken, the quality's gone up, etc., etc. I think there are some changes in maybe like some of the studio work or something. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
I'll check it when we get there, because we will get there.
Yep. Eventually.
this season.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness.
Homie, we are already at 116. I have like 2 to 3 more submissions of this
True,
at
and
20 episodes a pop.
True, and since we're past a certain point, we can just skip to the filler arc.
I will be skipping. Well, no, there's one filler arc I'm not skipping
okay.
because much like the Bleach, the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc, there's a similar arc in here that I'm not skipping because it's actually kind of good.
Okay.
Like the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc's actually kind of good.
I know it's like for the later series of Bleach, the filler gets better than the actual source material.
It does.
Ooh,
And that is
my.
a sad and sorry state of affairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So, moving over animation, I want to talk about the S-class exams. Because I really thought that was the best part
It
of
was.
Tenrou. Like,
Yeah.
it's my favorite part of Tenrou, even considering the entire arc, which I've seen. The S-class exams is stellar,
Okay.
right? So, our fucking cast gets to participate in the S-class exams, which is Fairy Tail hosts these once a year, I think.
Something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that, right? And they choose 8 participants to take place in these S-class exams, and I think it's essentially only one person moves up. But basically, you pass your way through the exam, you move up, and then you're allowed to take the S-class quest, which we've already talked about. Like Galuna Island was a S-class quest, right? And the only reason they were officially allowed to take it was because Urza was with them eventually, because Urza is an S-class mage. So I think our candidates are. Let's see, because our S-class mages, technically in the guild, are Mira Jane, Gildarts, Urza.
And
Technically, there's 2 more, but they're not here in this arc.
okay.
They're the 2 that have left at this point. Right?
Mystigan and
Mystigan
Loxus
and
were
Loxus,
S-class,
okay.
but they're not here, so we've got 3 S-class mages.
Yeah.
And and of course, Master is an S-class mage.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Like, you know, God
do
tier.
we need to even elaborate?
So, Gray, Natsu.
Lucy.
Juvia.
No, Lucy did not get chosen.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Juvia,
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were talking about chosen.
Kana,
I thought we were
Yeah.
talking about the party specifically.
Kana, Freed,
Yeah.
Wendy.
Yep. There's 2 more.
Was Wendy? I don't think Wendy was participating
No,
as a participant.
Wendy-
Yeah,
was.
Wendy's a participant.
Yeah.
I thought she was picked as a.
Nope, because the other guy was the
The other guy's
Magic
her partner.
Council.
I thought.
I thought the other guy was picked, and then she was.
The other guy was picked. She was picked as his partner. He picked her as his partner. Yeah.
Wait, no, the other guy was part of the Magic Council.
Yeah,
wasn't
he infiltrated.
Oh.
Yeah, that's here we go. Natsu, Gray, Juvia, Elfman, Kana, Freed, Levy, and Meshed. Meshed is the dude you're talking about. So
Okay.
they're all picked. And essentially what the arc says is that they're told that they each pick a partner, and then they're going to be taken to this location to participate in the S-Class exams. Turns out that the location is a place called Tenrou-jima, or Tenrou Island. And Tenrou Island is kind of like the hereditary property of the Fairy Tail Guild. It's where their first master is buried, and it's a place of like great spiritual sort of sacredness to them. So they're taken there via ship. It's the pirate anime.
You're never gonna let me live that down,
I'm
are
never
you?
going to let you live that down.
It's the ship.
All just because of that first, episode was all water-based. It was like, God damn it.
So they each pick a partner. Let's see. Natsu picks Happy. Gray picks Loki or Leo. Let's see. Juvia picks Evergreen. No, or Elfman picks Evergreen.
Elfman gets kind of forced to pick
Elfman
Evergreen.
is forced to pick Evergreen. Freed takes Bixlow. Levy takes Gajiel. Mess takes Wendy. And Kana takes Lucy. And Juvia takes someone. Who does Juvia take?
I would think it would be Gray, but
No,
no,
because
no,
Gray's
no,
also
wasn't
taking
that
the
right?
test.
Okay.
Juvia takes Lasana.
Ah.
That's why she's in this arc. Juvia takes Lasana. Okay. And then Charla tags along, secretly. Along with Panther Lily.
basically
Yeah.
stowaways on the ship.
Yes, they tag along as
So don't
stowaways.
they fly out like they fly in?
Yeah. Yeah, they fly in. But so what happens is they take the ship out to this island, and then the test begins, and they're paired up, and they've got to go through these cave routes. There's 8 of them. Two sets of routes, so 4 people will end up battling one another. 3 people will face the actual S-class wizards, and 1 person will get the lucky free pass through the cave system to the other side with no encounters.
Seki, hold on real quick. I gotta show you something. Just imagine this is a ship right here. And Vorn, when he sees a ship. Is that One Piece? Here you go. For context.
Yeah.
Is that One Piece?
Sackbut's screwed in my head so much about One Piece, about being the pirates, and it's like, ooh, pirate ship. Okay,
Gonna be
there.
king of the pirates. Technically, this is not a pirate ship, and neither was the last one. The last one was a slaver's ship, and this is the ship owned by the guild. So, you know, some clarification is needed there. And so they get into battles, right? So 4 of them fight one another. In this case, Kana and Lucy fight Bixlow and Freed.
Yep.
And Kana and Lucy end up winning, and it's because Freed like pretends that he's being taken out by attractive women or whatever, but then it's revealed after the fight is over that Freed felt that this was one of the only ways that he could atone for the damage that he and the rest of the Raijinshu had done to the guild during the Loxus incident a couple arcs ago. Like, because he feels genuinely guilty about hurting Kana and Lucy and stuff, and so this is kind of his way of atonement. So he let them win, which honestly is not going to do them any favors if they were to make S-Class, and to be quite frank,
No.
it's kind of unfair. Let's see, who else fights? Who fights one another?
I don't...
I mean, I know Juvia fights Gray.
Yeah. No.
Not Gray. I mean,
Juvia fights Urza. Natsu fights Gildarts.
Yeah.
Elfman fights his sister, Mira Jane.
Yeah.
Wendy gets the free pass.
Yeah.
Which means that Gray and Loki fight...
No. Wendy didn't get the free pass. Wendy lost.
Wendy and Mesh lost against
Gray
and Loki, which means that Levy and fucking Iron Eater got the free pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, Levy and Iron
lucky.
Eater. Yeah, got the free pass, which they didn't. He did not want. But
I love the
did.
way that the guild master was like, you know, I had Urza here because she kind of had to be, but that was as soon as this started. That was basically an instant and kind of unfair loss. I feel bad for whoever got them.
Also, Natsu.
Yeah, Natsu got freaking Brock and Misty.
He got no booed.
Boo!
Because
The
I
mini
was
Natsus.
so excited for Knick-Knack to see that because Oda Nobunaga and the Nobus in Fate. And it was like a bunch of little Nobus, but Natsus.
Like we're talking about like Lucy and what's her name?
Kana.
Kana being given a free pass. Natsu gets to his S-Class and like, you win because you had heart. I'm like, okay, cut this Pokemon gym bag shit
he
out.
won because he had he could recognize when he was outclassed finally.
Okay.
But the lesson there was that, you know, for the entire series thus far, he's always just been, hey, I can beat anyone. And now he's finally, like, seriously facing someone he can't beat and has to accept and acknowledge that there are things he cannot currently do and that he can improve.
And that's character development, kids.
I mean, that's what it essentially means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he had a character development fight. Elfman and Evergreen cheated.
Yeah.
By horrifying Mira Jane.
Yeah.
And poor Juvia.
Poor Juvia.
Poor Juvia. At the hands
Juvia.
of Urza.
Did
Rest
not
in
deserve
peace.
it. Unjust. I demand a recount. Stop the count.
I demand a redo. Roll an inspiration. Add an extra d6 to those rolls. Oh, you got the whale.
Oh, yes. You good whale.
Rigged.
Yeah, because Juvia's your best girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we didn't see much of that fight beyond the fact that Urza just absolutely bodied them.
Yeah.
And so they all get through the caves, right? Whether they passed or not. And essentially what's then told is that they have to find the grave of the first master, right? And that's the quest that they're given as like part 2 of their exams.
But this one kind of gets interrupted very, very early on.
Yeah.
It does.
And I kind of wish it didn't. This is where like I kind of fall through my. This could have been its own thing. Like it really could have.
See,
been.
but here's the thing. If they had carried through stage 2, finished stage 2, and then started stage 3, because it's a 3-stage exam, right? So start stage 3, I think it's a 3-stage exam. Let's say it is, because it usually is an anime. It's a 3-stage exam. They get to stage 3, and then in the middle of stage 3, they're interrupted. They're just pulling a Naruto tuning exams. Like a 1 for 1. Like genuinely. It would be 1 for 1. To the way that the tuning exams is laid out, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 3 is catastrophically interrupted.
Just let stage 3 play through. There's enough like character drama and like development going on without having to bring in the big overarching plot.
You haven't finished the arc yet.
I know I haven't, but I can see like I saw what that first thing like had going for it, and it had a lot going for it. If you want to then after stage 3 is done, bring in the overarching plot, sure. But like this was a maybe I'm spoiled by because this is one thing I will give My Hero Academia when they did their like big tournament arc of the series, they actually saw it through, unlike these cowards.
You're so mean.
Let Ash lose the Pokemon League.
I mean, yes, of course, but you know.
I want to see people like have the heartbreak of the loss after we get invested in all of them knowing only one can win.
I want them to know.
What? I mean,
I want to see my characters cry.
I am trying. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Fairy Tail would have probably done a better tuning exam than Naruto would have.
I'll say this, I am far more invested in that in the S class where I was than I was the tuning exams.
Okay. I can't make it I want to fight back. I want to. I physically can't.
No, let me kick you while you're down and you're unable to do shit.
You are literally kicking me while I am unable to kick back. This is a massacre. I hate this. I do think that the S class exams was really, really good. Like, it's such a morons. It's such a fun setup, right? And it kind of explains why there's only so many S-class wizards and why people are so excited to be S-class wizards. I will say we do get the reveal of the meshed stuff, which is kind of fucked up. The fact that this man has like inserted himself into Fairy Tail out of nowhere. And I think it's really fun when you first see meshed, because I didn't think about it when I was first watching this arc through. But we've seen pretty much every single member of Fairy Tail, right? In various background shots, or been introduced to them, or seen them like multiple times in earlier episodes. Because that's a big thing. This is a huge ensemble cast. And even the ones we don't follow directly, we still get to interact with. Like, we have met like 30 members or so of Fairy Tail, maybe more over the past couple of arcs, right? And you've never seen
But
meshed.
it plays on the expectation that you just see a brand new person in some arcs here, which you
Yeah.
don't. It's not to this extent in most of Fairy Tail episodes. You don't really think about that until
You don't think about it till a little bit later, although the first thought into your head once you get to a little bit later is, you know, all those times that they were talking about the most powerful wizards in the guild and they never mentioned a man named Meshed. But once again, it doesn't really come into play until you kind of get the reveal towards kind of the middle of the arc, where we learn that he is working for the Magical Council, right?
Seki when she can't fight Nick Nack because as in finished the arc.
Not incorrect. You had your hand up.
I mean,
I call on you.
for me, I kind of knew that he was full of shit because Mr. Gun's like disciple, absolute full of shit.
yeah.
But I
There are hints.
I did not know that we already saw everyone in Fairy Tail. I thought we still had some people left.
No, we've pretty. So the thing is, a Fairy Tail doesn't just randomly gain new members off screen. We started with one cast, and then we added Lucy, then we added Wendy and Gajiel and Juvia. But like Fairy Tail doesn't just randomly gain characters off kind of in the background and then have them show up. all the characters that we've been introduced to are characters who have been there since the very beginning. And if you actually look back at the early fairy tale art, it is the same characters shown in like volume 1 and in volume 30, even if you're just meeting them for like the first time officially and getting like talking lines with them in volume 30, their faces in volume 1 when they're showing all of fairy tale.
Oh.
So like they're pretty good about that. I don't think there's really an example where they fuck up there. And so the only times when you'll see a new character introduced, like see a new face but not get introduced, is when they're trying to hide something or imply something by that, like in the case of Meshed, right? So, but obviously that's something that you wouldn't pick up on a first watch through necessarily, which I totally understand, because I did not pick it up the first time through. I just thought Meshed was someone that we'd seen before but never interacted with, And I was like, it's a little weird to be introducing a whole new character all of a sudden. But, we brought Kana in as a main character, and the last time that Kana was super important, and even then not super important, was Battle of Fairy Tale, when she was fighting with Juvia, right? And even then, we only saw her in the one fight, pretty much. So, that's just some interesting foreshadowing there when you see a new character pop up in the guild, because you know that something has happened or something
Especially
will
after Battle
happen.
of Fairy Tale, we've seen pretty much everybody.
Yeah, Battle of Fairy Tale. If you didn't see them in the first couple arcs, you saw almost everyone in Battle of Fairy Tale.
Yeah.
Even like the people that don't talk very often, So it's, they don't just introduce random people, which I think is good.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would just be too many characters to keep up with if you were just kept introducing new people and then returning to old ones and seeing new ones.
Yeah.
No. Most of the additions to the guild are added via story arc in this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously Meshed, and then the thing that we've been skirting around, the interruption of the S-class exams by way of the second master.
Villains of the week. One of them's related to the guild master.
The 7 sins of
The
whatever.
7 sins. Oh,
I feel like we've done this song and dance before.
Well, because it's somewhat similar to Oracion Seis somewhat in the way that it's introduced.
And that felt somewhat similar to that one time where the rival guild attacked Fairy Tale. I forget their name.
Phantom Lord.
Yeah. It's like,
Grimoire Heart. Okay, so they're called Grimoire Heart. They were actually mentioned back in, I think, with the first 5 episodes. So when they go to that, get that, like the night song or whatever thing, back at the very beginning of the series, they talked about the organization of dark guilds, and then they talked about it again during the Phantom Lord arc, and you actually do see Grimoire Heart written in the organization. So Grimoire Heart is well known, just not a lot about Grimoire Heart is known. Now we learn that Grimoire Heart is run by the second master of Fairy Tale, Makarov's teacher.
This is where it's Grimoire Heart where I'm like, okay, I feel like arc to arc we could be transitioning a lot better.
So his name's Hades, and they show up in an airship with their 7 sins, he calls them.
Yeah.
And so there's Hades, Ultir, Azuma.
Yeah. Meredy.
Well, some of these are not.
Oh, they're not.
7
okay.
Kin of Purgatory. That's what I'm looking for. So the 7 Kin of Purgatory are the ones that show up here. Ultir Milkovich, which we talked about. That's episode 116. Has to do with her.
Yeah.
Zan Crow, that's Fire God versus Fire Dragon.
Yeah.
Right? So he's the one that Natsu fought earlier. Zoldeo. The goat-like man. Who it is alluded to that he is the Capricorn spirit.
Yeah.
It's all but revealed.
No, it is revealed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember exactly when. But yeah, so Capricorn or Zoldeo. Rusty Rose. So Rusty Rose, the dude in the nice dress. Kane, who's the overweight man. Meredy, that's the little girl. And Azuma. Azuma has one of the coolest villain designs. Like, we talked about this when he popped out of the fucking tree. Like, holy shit, he looks cool. And really menacing.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the other members of this group are kind of like, they look like kooky and kind of like gimmicky, like villains often do in shonen.
Right.
But, like, Azuma looks awesome.
He looks final boss tier.
He really does. And
yeah.
he acts final boss tier, too. Like, We love Azuma. Personally, Zancro's my favorite, but that's just because I think his fight with Natsu is a really funny one.
Yeah.
He's just like, what's a dragon slayer to a god slayer?
Metal as fuck.
It really is. We also see Makarov go big and try to use fairy law, the lost magic.
Yeah.
Wait, who fought Gildarts?
One of them fought Gildarts towards the end of
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just can't remember what
I think
episode.
wasn't it the guy that was like merging with shit?
If so, then that was
No. Because, like, the guy threw, like, black holes and stuff. It wasn't all tree stuff.
Okay.
Tree
Trying to
guy
see.
had a really good death. I love that
Yeah.
death.
I'm just trying to see who that was. Because,
Yeah, but the guy who fought against Gildarts, that fight was kind of more, like, meh. Because, like, they were pretty powerful wizards, both of them. And it's like, this is the fight we get out of this? It could have been way better.
I think I might have found it. No. I forget who he fights. I forget the name of him. What the fuck? Gildarts is fighting Blue Note. Yeah, he's fighting Blue Note Singer. This dude. Black Hole guy. Blue Note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them I just don't remember the names of because I'm like, I didn't like them as much. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest. But he's fighting Blue Note.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real crappy fight, I feel.
Some of the fights were better than others. I really liked Urza and Azuma. I thought that was a really good fight. Also, if you remember, some of the defeated mages left the island along with Gildarts after the first test. Like, remember Gildarts and the 4 defeated mages, I think?
No, it was just Fred.
It was just Frieden Bixlow.
Bixlow,
Yeah, so Gildarts, Fried, and Bixlow left the island, but they return in the latter part of this. See, Nick Nack and I were watching this together, and he was like, oh, look, your favorite characters, and they're not even in this arc that long as they sailed away. And I had to bite my tongue so fucking hard because I knew they came back.
Yeah, but you were talking like they weren't. So, like, I was teasing you off what you were saying.
Because I didn't want to
care
spoil
a
it.
bit of Shit.
I
I barely registered that they were back when they came back because they're such nothing characters.
Shut the fuck up. I love Fried, Bixlow, and Gildarts. They're my favorites.
Seki over here huffing the amount of copium.
Hey, shut the fuck up. There's also, so Hades and Grimoire Heart are here chasing after Zeref, a black, kind of like the original evil black wizard.
He was the guy that made the
Shit
big
die.
super weapon in the
Yeah.
what was it, the big tower arc.
Yeah, Tower of God.
Heaven.
Sorry.
No, Tower of God.
That's it.
Tower of Heaven. Tower of Heaven.
Tower of Heaven,
Tower of God,
because Tower of God is an
another-
anime.
That's
manga
an
anime.
That's a manga
Yeah.
and anime.
Getting a
Manhwa.
season 2 soon.
Manhwa.
Yeah.
Manhwa.
Yeah, so Tower of Heaven. But yeah, it's same person mentioned in the Tower of Heaven. I think he was mentioned again in the Oracion Seis as well, because dark
Yeah.
guilds always have something to do with the quest for Zeref. So we've got Zeref showing up.
Then he shows up and he's just a little emo boy.
And he's like, Natsu, I've been looking for you. Are you ready yet? No, you're not.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, literally. Natsu's like, who the fuck are you? We're all like, who the fuck are you?
That boy was unconscious for like how many hours/days?
Oh yeah,
at this
he
point?
gets knocked unconscious like halfway into the arc and then doesn't really do anything for the rest of the submission.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll come back into play
Book
towards the
fell
end.
down.
it happens. Books
Yeah.
fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think like largely that's the plot. I mean, it's the S-Class exams and then a series of fights, much like Oracion Seis or Phantom Lord, where kind of each, or even Tower of Heaven, where each individual character has their own specific fight that they're fighting, you know, like the opponent that they're facing, in the hopes that they'll kind of destroy the evil guild and then come out on top.
I think where my disappointment comes from is just that it's starting to feel a little formulaic.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to feel a whole lot more after a little while. Every arc past this is on the same formula. Every person gets their own enemy to fight, and they're all fighting.
Ooh, yeah, I love the Marvel flying. Because I love watching the same thing over and over again at the exact same points and whenever we're watching.
Yep.
Boy, I sure do love my superhero enemies.
Yeah. You just gotta. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. The entire rest of this anime is this.
Wonderful.
Oof.
I mean, some arcs are better than others, but it's pretty much fight after fight after fight after fight from here on out.
Cool. At least I'll know what to expect every single time I go into this.
You know what my favorite fight was? It's the one that wasn't really an action. I actually liked the genuine. This isn't just me sipping over Juvia. I really like the Juvia versus is it Merudi fight?
Meridi,
where it's more of sort of a psychological brain game than it is an actual fight.
Yeah. You might get more of those. I mean, I'm not saying that they're all like color by numbers fight arcs going forward, but there are certainly predominantly large scale fight and battle arcs going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, and there's just no escaping that at the moment.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have to deal. There will be smaller arcs interspersed that aren't as kind of battle-y, but not very many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did. Sorry. I did like the Guild Arts interactions with what we actually see in the past with Nasu and.
Oh yeah, because unlike the other S-class, what?
I'm trying to remember the daughter's name. C.A.
Kana?
Yeah, Kana. Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is that Guild Arts is, besides Makarov, Guild Arts is one of the only members of the guild that kind of was already an adult when these kids were growing up. Because you got to think like most of our main cast is like from the same generation essentially, like maybe a few years in between one to the next, but they were all children growing up together in the guild.
Well, that begs an interesting question. What happened to the previous generation? This is a guild with some actual history to it.
Well, Wakaba and Macau are there, and they were also adults when they were growing up. Guild Arts is there. And there is kind of like obviously Makarov and his teammates, right? Like, we've seen Porliusica, right? So that's one of his teammates. So I think there's also an element of mages retire at a certain point. Like a lot of the time they don't just keep doing stuff until they die, right? Very often they become guild masters or they go on to do other stuff or participate in the magic council or something else. If they keep being mages.
Mages work till they die, and they usually die horribly.
No, generally here they either. It seems to me that they mostly like save up a nest egg and retire, or like start owning a business.
Work.
Yeah, like own a business, start owning a guild, buy an apartment building to rent out, like
retire out to the middle of the country and become a weird old woman that people occasionally go to for help.
Yep, Porliusica.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mr. Bob.
Yeah, Mr. Bob running another guild. Yeah. So I mean, and obviously, so between the Guildmasters generation and like Natsu's generation, there's the Guild Arts, Wakaba, Macau from like the first couple arcs. Like they're all of that generation of like obviously they were kids when the Guildmaster became an adult, but then they're adults when this new generation of like Natsu and stuff were kids.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like the guiding parental figures, sort of inside the guild for these characters. So like there are some nice flashbacks when it comes to like Guild Arts because they grew up with him. Like he was around occasionally, if not more often than usual, because he was probably not as powerful then, so he wasn't taking as many S-class quests.
Yeah.
How old is Makarov? Because he's
a grandfather, so 60s minimum.
Yeah, he kind of looked like the same back in like the kids version and like now he's like
he's in his 60s or 70s, I think.
That's the anime rule of old people. Old people look the same from age 40
to 90. Yeah.
Yep.
And then once they hit like 90, they start looking crackled.
Yep.
Actually, we saw how old he was looking at 40. Yeah. 41.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we've got a fair spread of ages, right? We even have like some younger kids in the guild now too.
Yeah, like
because
with Wendy and all that.
Yeah, like Wendy and what's his name? The little boy. Macau's son.
Wakaba?
From No. Wakaba is his friend, his son from the first episode that was like, Natsu, you gotta get my dad back. You know who I mean as a character.
I know who you mean. I just can't remember.
I can't remember his name either. Unimportant at the moment.
Yeah.
Hasn't been relevant since the literal second, and not even arc. I think it was like the second or third
I think
episode.
it's the second episode, yeah. But, there's some generational kind of change and discrepancy in here. Eventually, we will see Makarov's son. We will actually see his son, Loxus' father.
Yeah.
That will be a character. You will meet him this season. Like, this channel
season is very... this channel
podcast season.
Okay.
You will meet him.
Yeah.
I think we might have saw him. I don't know.
I think you might have seen, like, a flashback to him at one point when we heard a little bit about Loxus' backstory.
No, I don't think it was a flashback. I think it was more like the familial sense kind of thing when Makarov got defeated. I don't remember. Yeah.
When Makarov got defeated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there might have been a flashback to him, but I mean, you're going to get introduced to him as a character this season. Like, this podcast season. Not this anime season, this podcast season.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you will meet him, so you'll be able to fill in the blanks of the in-between generation if you're really that curious.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd mention that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, how long has Fairy Tail been a guild at this point?
Well... They
didn't say how many guild masters there have been in this.
Yeah, because he's the third or the fourth.
Yeah, something like it was third or fourth or something.
Yeah, hold on.
Because we had first the founder, and then we had the second master became the evil guy now, and now Makarov, which was the master's.
Logically, it can't be more than 150 to 200 years in that case.
Okay, Fairy Tail was founded in the year X 686. This is taking place in 780 X 784. So right now we're in X 784.
So Fairy Tail's been
it's
around
all
100 years.
And the guild was founded in X 686.
Yeah.
So actually 98 years.
Yeah, so almost 100 years.
Yeah. We go and get a 100-year anniversary episode?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps. But yeah. So that's the year convention in world.
Yeah.
Okay. Waifu Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Waifu Wars. Waifu Wars. Waifu Wars. Board.
Guild Arts. He's a cool dad.
So valid. Realm?
I don't remember who my one was the last time we did this.
I don't either.
Fuck it, Juvia. Juvia stands.
I swear to fucking God, Nick Nack, if you say Juvia.
What else am I gonna fucking say?
I'm just, okay.
All the swimsuit girls? I don't know. There's a lot.
No, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Juvia, God, of course. Although I will give a special shout out to Melody. I actually really liked a lot of her.
Melody, yeah. For this part of Tenrou, specifically this part, it's Bixlow. With the side helping of Freed. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I really like the Thunder God tribe.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorite characters, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And will stay my favorite characters going forward, so definitely. But like, I like Bixlow just a teeny bit more than Freed, so Bixlow. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
What? What?
Nothing.
Spill.
I did spill.
I didn't hear you.
You'll hear me in the editing.
Yeah, but I won't be able to see you when I hear you in the editing.
That's only a good thing for me.
Oh boy.
Anyone
Anyone want to tell me what he did?
No.
I forgot. I wasn't paying attention.
Damn. Okay. All right. So, obviously, the next time I come out of the house, you're watching more of this.
Yeah,
So,
go
you know,
Yeah.
I'm not next though. So you're not watching more of this immediately next. So, any closing thoughts, suggestions, little bits of extra content, anything you want to say?
What was that spell that like he was using that went against fairy arts? T.H.E?
Hades?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, that was in Lost Magic or Makarov Strikes. It happened in one of those episodes. All right, Makarov Strikes. He wants to use Fairy Law. Oh, he's using Grimoire Law. Yeah.
The same fucking spell.
Yeah, Grimoire Law is essentially a malefic, an evil version of Fairy Tale Law.
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Well, but Fairy Law is a deterrent magic. What it means is that when it is cast, it will sort of eliminate everything that goes against it, right? So theoretically, if someone knew how to cast Fairy Law, they could modify that into any version. It's also susceptible to the user's thoughts. Like, for example, Loxus tried to cast Fairy Law back during the Battle of Fairy Tale arc, and he thought that because he felt that the guild was full of weaklings, it would eliminate all those weaklings, but in reality, it kind of delved into his deepest thoughts and feelings, and remember, it didn't actually hurt anyone, because in reality, he didn't actually think of anyone in the guild as, like, useless or people he needed to get rid of. He had just, like, convinced himself that he had. So, much in that way, and obviously since Master Hades was a former master of Fairy Tale, he would have known how to cast Fairy Law.
Yeah.
And because it's susceptible to your desires and wants, it's probably a pretty easy spell to modify.
Yeah.
You would just call it by a different name, cast the same spell essentially.
Yeah, and he just literally changed the name to Grimoire Law
because he's now the master of Grimoire Heart, and it's one of their forbidden magics as well now.
These palette swap clones are getting out of control.
I'm just saying, I think it makes sense as to why he's just calling it Grimoire Law, even though it's just Fairy Law. Because Fairy Law is one of the 3 great fairy magics of the Fairy Tale Guild.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, I mean, I guess it's just because, obviously, like, it's, since you said it's warps to your own wants and desires at a given time, that's basically how it's changed in this case. So, palette swap, yes. But it is different in its intention. So,
yeah.
Have we seen all 3? Because we have Fairy Law, Fairy Glitter, and then like, then there was supposedly a third one. I don't know. If we've seen it
there
yet,
is. I don't think we have.
It really is the Fairy Tale.
I mean, I can look, but I don't think it is. No, and nope. We have not seen either of the other 2 of the 3 great fairy magics. We have only seen those 2. Fairy Glitter and Fairy Law.
Wait, 3 great fairy magics, we've only seen these 2. Isn't there, I mean, there's only 1 more, not 2 more?
Sorry, I meant 1 more.
Okay.
My bad. I counted wrong.
math hard.
I feel that.
It really is. It do be. If math wasn't hard, you guys would have watched 20 episodes instead of 21.
I thought you already just screwed up with the first one.
We really need to invest in a sec knife.
No, sec brick. Here, throw
it. Brick versus knife.
Brick versus knife. Who will win?
I think this wins.
It might. That's so old it might.
Actually, no, this is my new one, so...
No.
Yeah. No,
yeah, they just still make bricks for people like him.
Well, I like my brick.
Vorn the brick thrower.
Brick chucker.
So I mean, I don't have anything else to say other than I really am happy that I'll be able to get you through a little bit extra since this technically came out of the random hat for me.
Yeah.
And that just can only be a good thing for me. Because I got a lot to get you through still. This series ends with, I think, 328 episodes.
Yeah.
And we are only at 116.
I mean, we're still like further ahead of this than we are in One Piece, so.
That is true. That is true. But this is achievable, unlike One Piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on our current rules. Like, if I could tell you to go watch an arc and come back, absolutely I could do One Piece.
Yeah.
But unfortunately I can't tell you to watch an arc and come back.
Yeah.
Because then I would tell you, hey, go watch fucking Alabasta. It's only 77 episodes or something, you know? Or like 120 episodes. And you guys would murder me.
Yes.
Yes.
We probably would.
We would, and we would absolutely have to have 1 month long gaps between recordings.
Yeah, you would take me out back and put me out of my misery.
1 month for 120 episodes. You're not factoring in the amount of time that's called Nick Nack dragging his ass because he doesn't want to watch anime right now.
No, it wouldn't be out back.
All right,
It's
all right.
to the ocean at that point.
All right, it's okay. Who's getting the body bag?
Someday I'll find people who appreciate my taste in anime. But
Shout outs if you're someone who appreciates Seki's taste in anime in the comments.
I mean,
yes, oh my god, hype up if you do, because I will love you forever.
Look, I just have to say that because I know there's plenty of people who appreciate my taste in anime because I have great taste and our audience definitely agrees.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to comment on my taste because I know I am absolute garbage tier. Yeah?
Aw, he's self-aware.
And yet
I
somehow
kid.
someone likes you.
That's true. For some reason, Realm, I mean this with all sincerity.
Yes.
Somehow, the episodes you pick always do really well on the channel, and it makes me feel pain deep in my soul. Like, Monster Girl Doctor is doing better than, like, everything else we've released this season.
It is with great sincerity that we tell you, fuck off.
It is with all the love in our hearts that we say, God, you people are degenerates.
Somewhere out there, all us degens all share a singular brain cell.
They really do. And sometimes when I tell you guys to put shit in the hat, it comes to him.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, our next anime is, was it a hat or a regular
it was a
pick?
poll. It was a regular pick.
Regular poll. So a regular poll from Realm.
Yes.
And we're going to be watching Season 2 of Beastars.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
However, because it's Season 2, I do not think that we need to watch the trailer for it.
No.
But let's do a brief refresh on what we thought about Beastars last time. I am just gonna check what rating I gave it because that's gonna tell me how I felt about it. I gave this a meh last time.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I think I remember having problems. It's not even like, first of all, I didn't super like the animation and the fact that they're animal characters, but that's an artistic choice, and whether I like it or dislike it, that doesn't actually have bearing on the quality of the show, first of all. And I do acknowledge that. Second of all, I think I remember just disliking what I kind of interpreted as the plot of the arcs, and I remember having like a discussion about this with you guys because I think I had interpreted something differently than you guys, and as a result I didn't like it. Yeah.
So there was that.
Yeah. Let's see, Vorn, you also gave this a meh.
Yeah, that was mostly due to all the animal stuff and the furries.
Yeah.
That was just an insurmountable mountain for Vorn.
You know what? Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I got a shiver on my back when you said Beastar Season 1.
But you two liked it, so why don't you two go off?
I really like the complexity in the character writing. These people, although they were animals, still felt like actual freaking people.
These people are animals.
They are animals, but they did feel like people that were flawed. I like that we got like very, very flawed characters that were not. It didn't feel like they were 100% right all the time.
It felt like Disney's Robin Hood.
Look, I
I'm
actually
not
like
wrong.
Disney's Robin Hood.
No, I
though.
do too. That's like one of my favorite Disney animated movies ever.
Like, I could give or take the animal aspects of it. It's the world they built, and I'll live with that. It's just the world you. I like to take media on its own terms.
AKA, he's not a furry, but maybe he could be converted if you guys sent us enough furry porn.
No, I can't.
All right, time.
I'm kidding.
All right,
I am.
All right.
Audience, we are kidding. Please do not.
Please go fill Knickknack's inbox with gay furry porn.
Realm, I'm going to
He is on
chuck
X.
a book for you.
He is on X. He's following the club Twitter account.
You do. I will block you guys. I'm not afraid to use that. I have a block button, and I am not afraid to use it.
In all seriousness, we are kidding, and we do not actually think that Beastars is literally just furry porn.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's mostly a joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm sure it's a joke that makes some people mad because they really like this series, but you gotta admit it's kind of what it looks like. Own up.
Yeah.
I like Keijo. I own up to that. You can own up to your show being basically furry bait.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I mean, whatever. do you. You do you.
We are not at the Beastars discussion yet. We will be back 2 weeks from now, most likely, unless things are late. So yes, we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Try harder, everyone.